That's the good thing with the cane, you know? Okay. Oh, because you're walking on the grass. Wow, I'm somewhat honored to be here this afternoon. It's really a privilege, my first time on pretty much this spot of ground. And we're in Jamaica live at where we call the Falmouth Dock, recently built for the biggest ship that we have that carries tourists to our destination. Of course, with that being said, it simply reminds me where I am coming from. My main income then, I was pretty much heavily involved in what you call tourism. It's our main income on the island of Jamaica. I used to run what you call a tour company, and of course I'll leave the name for a later time to come. Being a GM or a general manager for this particular tour company, I have the privilege to interact with clients from different aspects of the world. And the privilege it affords me, that was my main bread. That was my main income. Unfortunately, pretty much 2006, no one knows what lies ahead and no one knows exactly what happened the next minute from now. May I say to you, those of us who are listening, that disability is sometime inevitable. But in the same breath, you and I can be a second, a minute away from a disability. On August 21st, 2006, to be exact, while going about my day-to-day life, doing what was necessary to earn an income, being the general manager for a tour company, have a few persons who work for me, I have a few persons who have to escort me around. The privilege that I have was definitely superb. But what I'm about to share with you is about to change your life, your belief, and it will now show you the journey that I've just begun and the life-changing experience that this has bring about for me. Then I know what it's like to have a family, a father for 2, a daughter which is 20, a son which is 9, a wife that was then but is no longer. As we go through the story, you will yet learn more. Upon August the 21st, approximately 7 to 8 p.m. in the evening, I had the privilege to take home one of my drivers. While traveling home, we decided to make a stop at what you call a corner store. Upon stopping at that particular corner store, we walked into what you call a robbery that was already in progress. Enough did we know, to our surprise, these were persons that were heavily armed. Upon the driver went into the snack shop, he ordered what he wanted. Of course, myself was on the outside, doing what was best, having a chit chat with a friend. Upon being there, I saw 4 persons alighted from the shop. 2 went ahead before the other 2 and 2 delayed behind. And what they did, based upon where we were, they made like a Z across the street. One was on the left, one was on the right, one was on the left, one was on the other right. That way they have what you call coverage. Now these persons were heavily armed. What they do best was trying to rob that particular community that we were. While I still continue to chit-chatter a little bit, the young man came over to me and asked me to give him whatever I have in my possession. I turned to him and I simply said to him, I have nothing in my possession. I am making my way to a meeting. Without any hesitation, this young man takes the command from his superior, from his leader, and in our own dialect, he began to say, put him down. And upon he listened to that command, can I say to you, without any delay, just imagine 6 feet away from me, in very close proximity, the gun was pulled, it was drawn, the finger was on that trigger. And when the young man heard the command, he then pulled the trigger. A bullet alighted from the gun. My left eye, as I'll demonstrate now, was taken out on the spot, which is this one. What you now see is a prosthetic eye. What you refer to here on the island as a false eye. This eye is still good. But upon the bullet reaching and making connection to my eye, it was taken out on the spot. The bullet then turns on the right side and it exists. I can show you this small mark right here, very tiny, might not be able to see it. But the bullet then alighted and it exit right here on the right side. What that does for me, it went through the right nerves. From August the 21st, 2006, that leaves me totally blind. That leaves me without a hope. I didn't know where to turn, what to do. I tried to reach out to my people, my government, reach out to state agencies such as Jamaica Society for the Blind. This was where persons like visual impaired, low vision persons could get help or get the necessary assistance. When I reached out to them, they did not have the facility to facilitate me in traveling because I am on the west end of the island, which is 4 hours drive away from the east side of the island. They did not have the facility to host me for 3 months and to provide me with the necessary training that is needed. I then begin to search and ask persons to assist me to search the internet to see if it's humanly possible that I could get what we call help from the outside, help from other persons who knows what to do. I still have a family to take care of. I didn't know where the next bread, the next meal would come from. My life then becomes changed. My hope then becomes dim. I begin to worry, I begin to wonder. And I realized that that incident then has changed my life for the worse. But can I say to you now, it has given me a different outlook on life, and it has also given me a greater sense of purpose. As we now traveled to where we're at now, I came in contact with a gentleman who has changed my life, who has impacted my life, my family, my people, my world. And I refer to him as Mr. Honorable John Whittaker. A man with a heart, I would almost say, after God. A man that knows what it's like to reach out to human in regardless of color, race, whatever you consider to be. Can I say to you, up to this day, we still have never met in person. This may have been the closest that I may have contact to someone that is directly connected to Mr. Whittaker. And I count this a privilege, I count this an honor to be able to share with you, because each one of you have helped us to be where I am at today. From this situation, Mr. Whittaker assured me that he can stay right there in the state and he can give me the necessary training that I would need for me to be rehabilitated back into my people, into my world. And he was the one then that gives me hope again that I could still continue. Can I say to you, there were times that I felt like I'm going to call this a day. There's no more hope for me. I felt like I want to take my life. But the fact that Mr. Whittaker came in at that time, it has made a difference, and he has now helped me to evolve. I never know that blind persons could even type. I never even know that blind persons could even use computer, much less a white cane. Mr. Whittaker stayed right there from the state, and he decided to get on the computer remotely, and he began to program that computer that was donated by missionaries that came on the island. And I shared with them what is about to happen, and they donate what we call a clone computer desktop system. At that time, it ran Windows XP. He then began to put on the necessary screen readers. He then began to put on Skype so we can communicate, and we could do what is called remote classes using Skype as a means of communication. He then began to put on what you call talking typer, that now I have to learn how to type. from that day until now, the impression that John Whitaker has made on my life has allowed me to share this knowledge with my people. I then got the hope to get involved with a blind group that is on this side of the island in Montego Bay, Jamaica, that goes by Montego Bay Society for the Blind. What I refer to this group of persons as, it's more like a social club. Since I becomes a part of it and begin to expose them that there is hope and technology can make a difference in our life, I'd gotten the privilege to convince a few persons where I use my computer that was donated, my facility, with the help of Mr. Whitaker, providing persons who can help us to get the necessary training and to be equipped to bring us to the next level where we can become independent. We then had the privilege to train at least 5 persons over a period of time of a couple of years. All of these persons are greatly involved in using the technology at different levels. They can pretty much type faster than any sighted persons. They can also play musical equipment. They can also sing. They can also do different things that they know, understand that they are now here for a purpose. Can I then say to you, ever since then, one name goes by Roland Rodney, Dudley Barnes, Godfrey Donor, Nikisha Rule. But last but not least was Brian Clark. These persons up to this minute had the privilege to be taught by myself, Mr. Whitaker, and all the other teachers and tutors that have made that impact by learning to type, by learning to use the computer, by learning to do email, by learning to surf the net, by learning to do Facebook, by learning to do WhatsApp, by learning to do YouTube, and a list of other programs. From that then, it has given me privilege and opened other doors for me to get involved at an higher level on different committees. I then was asked to join a particular committee that I've reached out to first by the name of Jamaica Society for the Blind to become a part of their board. I still up to this point sit on that board as the only representative that is connecting the west side of the island to the east side of the island in terms of a physical contact by traveling back and forth every 4th Thursday of every month to attend what you call a general or an annual meeting that is held once per month every 4th Thursday, and that's on the other side of the island. Once I travel up with a sighted guide, I then have to stay over until the following day, and what you're looking at is 4 hours worth of drive time to go and 4 hours worth of drive time traveling back. That experience has been mind-blowing. But can I say to you, I could never done it without the help and my mentor, Mr. John Whitaker, and his family. Mr. Whitaker, he has also sent enough canes, talking clock, talking watch, even though I may not have on any now at this time. He has also sent the necessary gadgets that are needed. For example, bumps that needs to go on the keyboard so you can know where to find each stuff. He has, as I've said, he has also helped in terms of giving me day-to-day traveling navigation where different persons were assigned to me. I had the privilege in meeting what you call a counselor who will help me to deal with my trauma to go through that particular ordeal. I've had the privilege to meet what you call an officer that deals with white cane and train me how to go on the road. How do I navigate when I'm approaching a building and all of that. So I'm simply saying to us, regardless of the distance where we are, I had the privilege to be taught at every level, at every angle, by the different resources that was available to Mr. John Whitaker, that he make available to me and my people in providing the necessary rehab to bring me back into the system, to give me back that hope. From then, I've gotten involved in other disability groups. I've asserted different positions as president, vice president, PRO, analyst. Out of that sharing regarding technology, I had the privilege to meet another honorable gentleman, and we refer to him as Senator, as you hear that name, that word, Senator Floyd Morris. He's presently in government now as we speak. He's the president of the House. I have the honorable privilege of meeting him at what you call a disability conference. Upon meeting him and sharing with him, he then believed that I was pretty much suitable to be on radio. He started what you call a radio program that still comes on every Monday, and it comes on newstalk93fm.com, and you select listen live. The name of the program that we broadcast through is called Seen from a Different Perspective. Senator Floyd Morris, he's the host, totally blind, totally visually impaired, and I, as the name Robert Blake, had the privilege to share with my people on the whole entire island and those who are on the internet and listening in other parts of the world, to share on his program where I know covers what is called the technology slot. Pretty much 2 years ago, to fast forward in time, Mr. John Whitaker then said, Robert, I'm going to move you to another level. I'm going to take you away from the desktop computer that you're familiar with, and I'm now going to put a small gadget in your hands, and I'll draw for this gadget so as you can then understand. This is referred to as an iPhone. It might not look like it because of the casing and how it may look, but this iPhone has also helped to revolutionize my life, to help to change everything around me. It allows me to be able to identify money by using the app. It allows me now to evolve on radio and demonstrate both in conference and group, both in sighted community, non-sighted community, different agencies and groups, where I had the privilege to demonstrate my skill as a visually impaired person by using this particular device along with my white cane to be able to navigate wherever I need to go, and sometimes, of course, with the help of a sighted guide. It has then allowed me to be able to make new connections. I then got involved with what you call a Skype group that does devotion every morning. I then got involved with other technology gurus who are also visually impaired, just myself, and they had the privilege to share with me as I share with my people. I then becomes exposed to other technology where I could use my voice. We refer to that particular software, Voice on the Go. What I use that software to do, let's say for example, I need to send an email, and I don't have the time to get on the computer in time. I don't have the time to get on the phone. I can then take up my Magic Jack, and upon using my Magic Jack, I use my voice by dialing to pretty much everything. And it then allows me to read the email aloud over the phone, and it allows me the privilege to reply using my voice. And then I simply say, send mail, and it begins to do it. So as I indicate, Voice on the Go was a voice recognition software that allows me to speak directly through what is called the Magic Jack, whether the apps or the direct phone itself, and it allows me to check my email and pretty much browse the internet and anything else that I need to do. So let's say I had a problem just only using one hand, wasn't able to type, then I'll be able to use my voice and use this particular voice recognition to be able to get anything that needs to get done. I then fast forward from the iPhone, where I then become exploring into other pieces of technologies. These technologies are what you refer to as apps, and these apps now allow you to do different function according to whatever task that is given. And that's the thing that I love with technology. It simply empowers me to another level, because I strongly believe that the day will come where we here on the island, as visually impaired as we are, as enthusiastic as we are, we will then be able to drive our own car, go to a Mega Mart, go to a Walmart, go to a Burger King, or what you call a KFC that is familiar, and drive by having the necessary technology put in place. I then have the privilege to use the iPhone to be able to track where I'm at, the destination I need to go, and if I want virtually to simulate that location before I reach the location, I can also simulate it by the program that is actually on the phone. So then we now fast forward a little bit where Jamaica Society for the Blind had written a project to the Jamaican government through the Japanese, where we solicit their funds for a project to do what is called a call center. That idea came from myself and Mr. Whitaker. Can I say before that we have made attempt to Lions Club International to get this project going, where we believe that our people, as visual impaired as they are, as low vision as they are, they can also become employed by getting gainful employment. And we then share the idea with the government, with the relevant authority that is in charge of blind persons on the island, that goes by the name of Jamaica Society for the Blind. We share that project, we embark on the project, we got the project. The project was approved by the government of Jamaica. Of course, we know how those project goes. It comes with stipulation and it comes with conditions applied. One of the things that I need to do, I need to ensure that my facility, because the government also gave me the privilege to be one of the trainer, and we have then incorporated I Challenge, that's John Whitaker and the group, along with Michael, his son, who's pretty good in project and all of that and so forth, and also Stetler, which is another group that do online training and also in call center, and they then would have been the persons who would have guided us with the project that was approved by the government. However, at this particular time, we have a glitch where the facility that we are going to use to do the training for call center is going to be on the west side of the island where I am from, and they gave me that privilege to have it on that side. And as I said, I'll be one of the trainers. And again, I could not do this without Mr. Whitaker, because I could not tell anybody or convince even my people before then that blind persons can work as telephone operators, or they could even do what is called a call center job. Myself and Mr. Whitaker did a dummy test to demonstrate even to Jamaica Society for the Blind, and it was out of that we convinced them. We got the project is approved. However, at this time, sad to say that we still have not embarked on the training due to the fact that we need the necessary assistance with the building facility. The project covers the technologies that will be needed, the computer, the hardware, the trainers, and the student, and all of that will be entailed in the whole entire package, but not the building. It is my responsibility then to ensure that the building is ready and in full swing to go. We have persons who are waiting now as we speak, but because the facility is not yet ready, then that is where we presently now have a glitch in the system. We then embark again with the government and coming to what we call the EU, European Trade Union, which has to do with the new disability bill and ratification that needs to be done. Jamaica, as a Caribbean island, is one of the first Caribbean islands that decided to become ratified through the EU. We then pressure the government so we can then begin to have something in laws as a part of our policy here on the island, and we now got what is called the disability bill that is now fully approved. That again has gotten me involved at different level with different stakeholders. Just Monday of this week, which would have been the 17th of November 2014 to be exact, at about 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on that day, Monday, we then on this side of the island, since it was out of my dream that we wanted to have a disability bill that will give us more privilege, more rights, more access, and discriminate against discrimination, and remove a lot of the barriers or some systems that are there that are totally not accessible for us. It is then out of that brainchild that we had the privilege to have the first disability bill consultation on this side of the island. So we are pretty much looking, as we move forward into 2015, where then we will have what is called the Governor General of the island of Jamaica. He then will give the final signature, and it will then become official. It will then become on the books of Jamaica that we now have what is called a new disability bill that will give my people, our people, the rights, the privilege, full access to everything that is needed, where we can live, we can raise, we can enjoy life at its best and fulfill our purpose. Some of the things that are covered in the disability bill: 1 is employment, 2 transportation, 3 housing, 4 tribunal court, where that simply means that when we have issues with the law and so forth, we don't necessarily have to go in the direct court system, but we'll have our own tribunal that will appeal our cases on our behalf. And numbers of other things that are covered. Technology is also covered in it. Again, this have also given our government the privilege to allow that computers and other devices that are now coming in the island must be tax-free and duty-free, especially when it becomes used as a tool for persons with disability.
Awesome.